I want to introduce our speaker today, Pat Frost. He's former president of Frost Bank for over 4 decades. Frost Bank is now listed as the 50th, among the 50th largest U.S. banks. So I put in my notes that he probably started at 14, but he's corrected me. He said he started at 16 with the Frost Bank. He knew somebody had that name, I don't know. He's also been involved with making San Antonio a major sports location. He's now president of the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo, and that is a chore. I'm gonna tell you, I've worked at the rodeo, or volunteered at the rodeo for many years, and so I'd like to introduce Pat Frost and Audrey Smith Sanchez, right? She's the community relations director for the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo. So,
thank you, David. I want to first of all begin by saying thank each and every one of you all for your service that you did for our country. Thank you so much. I appreciate my freedoms I have every day, and I know it's because of men and women like you, so thank you. And at the San Antonio Stock Show, we definitely appreciate our military, and I hope you have been. So first question I'm going to ask, who has been to an actual rodeo performance in San Antonio? All right, I'm singing to the choir. I love this. Well, I certainly hope y'all are planning to come February 6th through the 23rd. It is our 76th San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo, and the origins of the rodeo start with the Junior Livestock Auction. And if you haven't been to it, I really encourage you to go to it. It will be on the last Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of the show. The reason why it's at the end is because the kids earn their way to be able to have their animal be auctioned off. And the purpose of the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo is for those kids showing their animals, earning the distinction, and then being able to earn money from the sale of their animal at the auction. And for the first probably 40 years of the stock show, that's what it did. It started a rodeo in 1950 to be able to pay for all the grounds, to be able to put on those competitions and have the auction. And that was basically at the end of the year, kids walked away with some money and a good time was had. And now we're going to talk about what really started in 1984 here in a second. But what I want to start off with is to see our mission statement. And we do put on a great show for 18 days, 22 different performances in the Frost Bank Center. But what we really are emphasizing is the youth throughout Texas. And there's no doubt that a lot come from, thankfully, Bexar County and the surrounding counties. But I mean, all 254 counties in Texas have kids at the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo. All right, let's go to Audrey, the next one. Oh yeah, let's do the video.
San Antonio and the rodeo share an incredible journey, a dynamic partnership that has not only stood the test of time, but has evolved into a powerhouse of positivity for Texas. For an impressive 75 years, the rodeo has been a living canvas, vividly painting the rich tapestry of our history, culture, and diverse community. In 1949, the seed was planted with the San Antonio Stock Show at the Freeman Coliseum, and a year later, the rodeo came into the picture. The year 2003 witnessed a grand move to the AT&T Center, propelling the event to the global stage, where it now stands as one of the largest and most prestigious rodeos worldwide. Today, the Western Rodeo stands as a beacon of cherished values, love of country, family traditions, and a commitment to the spirit of competition. It's more than an event. It's a transformative force that has touched the lives of over 1 million Texas youth. It's a source of immense pride for our city, a symbol of resilience and tradition that continues to shine brightly. Here's to 75 years of history, legacy, and the unwavering spirit of the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo.
All right, here's some stats, y'all, to go through. You already heard that one in the video. Over 1 million kids have been involved through the 75 years. 255 million is what our total is of what we've given over those years. It really started, the bigger numbers started in 1984 with the first scholarship that was given. So Mary Nan West, Mrs. West, is the one that, you know, like I said, during the first 30 years of the show, it was basically paying the bills, and to be able to have that junior livestock auction and kids receiving money from that. And she said, you know, we should be able to save up some money at the end of it and start giving scholarships, particularly through 4-H, FFA, and it's grown to many universities. So the track now is 255 million, and it's about 12 million a year. And just to kind of put it in perspective, 6 million is through that 3-day junior livestock auction, and then about 6 million, it's really about 5, is in scholarships, and then there's another 1 million to kids through other grants. 6,000 volunteers. Well, you know, I'm not going to say that when you go out there and you see 6,000. We got 6,000 on the rolls. We've had, you know, we definitely keep and communicate. But it's the 80-20 rule, and you'll see a lot of familiar faces visiting with David. That how much time he spent. We're going to get this corrected with that. I'm really glad we got this expert right here. That you know, there is for sure 2,500 folks and that give a lot of time. I mean, there are people who give up their vacation to be able to spend time in their respective roles out at the stock show. Another one that I know is up there is 18,000 kids each year are exposed through competitions, through scholarships that are impacted Texas youth each year. And we look to continue to grow that. There's actually more different entries within the different competitions, but we got some kids that have multiple entries that they're raising different types of animals, but 18,000 specific kids. Gonna look at another one while he's working on it. This one, was 100 colleges and universities have San Antonio Rodeo Scholars. 100 schools that have been impacted. That's since that program started in 1984. And then we annually have 1.5 million visitors go on the grounds during the 18 days. Now, there are people like me that are probably there 18 of those 18 days, but there's plenty that just come one time. You can do the math. If it's about 15,000 per performance and there's 22, so let's go ahead and call it 20. Just means a little over 300,000 actually go to the rodeo. So that's 1.2 million that are going on the grounds. And I already heard that y'all have a service, that there'll be a day that you'll be able to sign up and travel out to be able to go to the grounds. And you can have a great day of entertainment without seeing a rodeo. All right, we're still gonna, we'll go back to it. Let's go to the next one real quick so I can remember what's on there. This one just has some words, so I'm gonna be able to read it to you. The economic impact from the show, just, you know, number one, what we care about is what impacts the youth of Texas. But from a San Antonio's perspective, it's a big deal. It's number 2 to Fiesta. You know, when Fiesta, of course, has, you know, throughout the city, we're in one section of the city. We're a little longer. Fiesta is about 11 days, and we're 18 days. Our economic impact is almost $300 million. Now, you know, I know y'all see those different numbers, and it kind of, how do we get to those numbers through economists? But you just drive around town and see people that are dressed in boots and cowboy hats, and you know there's some money being spent. 4,000 jobs are created each year, you know, because we have folks that are going out, concessions, carnival, you know, that are impacting. You know, Akeem is how, you know, I got to meet working at what was then called the AT&T Center, and you know, to see somebody like that toward the end of the show, man, they're tired. They're tired. Hey, round of applause. Y'all are heroes. Don't go anywhere. And then I love this last one of those, you know, even if it's 2,500 volunteers, that they look at the time spent. That's a real stat. that people are giving up $12 million worth of time. Let's go to the next one. The work that they do in these studies, that 46 different hotels have visitors that say they're coming in just because of the San Antonio Stock Show. And of course, they obviously are doing other things besides going to the rodeo. We have an international room, which is really fun to go visit during the show, to go look at the map of the world, and the people who come in during that show, where they're from. Just during last year's, we had 923 guests from 76 different countries came to the San Antonio Stock Show. Okay. All right, I'm gonna give this one over to Audrey.
Well, hello everyone. Like David mentioned, my name is Audrey Sanchez, and I am the Community Relations Director for the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo. I am actually one of the 35 full-time employees that work for the rodeo, and kind of just here to talk to y'all a little bit about my scope of work and kind of our community initiatives, that we're working on. And so, just out of curiosity, how many of y'all here knew that the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo was a year-round entity and a 501c nonprofit? Just a couple outside of our 18-day show. Yeah, so essentially that is my job, what I'm doing here now, kind of just educating the public and raising this public awareness about the fact that we reside on the east side, and we're a year-round entity, raising all of those and putting on events to raise money for our scholarship fund. So, like I just mentioned, increasing our public awareness and emphasizing our year-round presence, and showcasing our mission and giving. So, of course, like all of the points that Pat Frost, mentioned, we give so much, to the youth of Texas, and are constantly living out that mission day to day, and educating, other, the community and other youth groups about different avenues that they are able to participate in to benefit from those funds. You don't just have to have an agricultural background as a student in order to, participate in any of our contests. It goes way beyond the livestock show. We have contests that, you don't need to be an FFA or a 4-H member in order to benefit. We have contests like agrobotics and Western art, and just to touch that different type of kid that didn't grow up with or has a rural background, and so we just want to make sure that we impact as many children as we can. And one thing I really just wanted to share with y'all about different initiatives that we're trying to incorporate within our entity is our youth riding program. We have so much longevity within our show. You've heard it from Pat, you heard it in the video, that we are celebrating we just celebrated our 75th year and are coming up on our 76th. And so we have recognized the need to kind of really tap in, especially into the East Side community where our offices reside. And by doing that, we came across a program, and I'm not sure if any of y'all are familiar, but with this group called Connecting Compton, or the Compton Cowboys out in Compton, LA. And when you think of Compton, you probably think about a lot of different things, a lot of violence and things like that. And this particular group has started this riding program in the middle of LA and taken advantage of their the fact that they don't have any zoning restrictions. So we went out to Compton, LA about a year ago, members of my team, and noticed that the people in Compton, LA were just riding horses up and down the street everywhere that they went. And they've kind of taken advantage of that and decided to figure out a way to embrace their youth in that community and capture them at these very pivotal moments and teach them very valuable skills while that relate to equine and things like that, and equine care. So As you know, we heard y'all take an annual trip down to our stock show and rodeo. So whenever you're coming down Frost Bank Center next time, I would like for you to take a look at Frost Bank Center Drive, from 35. I would like for you to take a look at the left-hand side of the road, because very soon we will have this incredible building to do the very same thing that these organizations in Compton, LA have been doing, and that is starting youth riding programs and fostering, the East Side community in that way, and teaching them very valuable lessons and exposing them to the agricultural industry and all of the benefits, that we offer as a show, and how, they can benefit. So.
That's really exciting. And just think about it. I keep talking about the 18 days. What Cody Davenport, the CEO of the rodeo, hired Audrey Sanchez to do, and that is to expand that. So in a year, let's say the number's 30, then another 12 days of events happening on the ground, sponsored by the San Antonio Livestock Exposition throughout the year, and that continuing to grow. This, you all may have seen that Judge Peter Sakai is announced his re-election already, and one of his main points is he wants to make sure that the East Side is not, when the Spurs move, let's hope downtown and not out of the city, but that he wants to make sure that there is a more vibrant area around what's now called the Frost Bank Center than when the Spurs were playing there, and we are his partner in getting that done. So it's an exciting time for the grounds, thanks to Audrey's efforts. All right, let's go to the next one. Oh, get into the video.
You help support the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo's mission to promote agriculture and education for the youth of Texas. Every year, the rodeo gives kids statewide an opportunity to showcase their best skills, projects, and exhibits.
Or whether it's fundraising throughout the year, or whether it's the stock show and rodeo and the carnival and all the stuff here, that all goes to fund our mission, our goal to promote Texas youth and agriculture through scholarships, endowments, grants, and show premiums.
Lots of times the kids, they're excited to win and they're excited their project and all that kind of stuff. Parents ones that really recognize the fact of how that scholarship is going to really make a difference in their future going forward.
None of this is possible without the generous support of rodeo donors, sponsors, and over 6,000 volunteers. Today, over 1 million Texas youth have benefited from over $255 million raised.
We don't work in the land every day like we used to, so it's our job, probably even more than it ever was, to pick up that education component and make sure we remain tied to it and respectful of it, and give opportunities for people to be involved in it.
Thank you for helping us educate the youth of Texas. Get involved today at sarodeo.com.
Kind of sum up, and that is just to make sure our youth know that it isn't, when you go into HEB, all that stuff isn't just coming out of the warehouse. It does come from somewhere. All right, y'all, so we're gonna open it up for questions. We are ready to rodeo again, but we want to hear from you.
How many applicants do you have for each year of rodeo to participate in the Bronco?
Yes, when you say the actual competition, the ones riding, the contestants, I tell you, the Keith Martin, the gentleman who ran the rodeo for over 30 years, did a great job that you all who attend the rodeo probably noticed. When we moved into what is now the Frost Bank Center in 2002, we were a rodeo where a cowboy showed up, paid an entry fee, and was able to compete in the rodeo, to we now have the top 50 cowboys competing in cowgirls, competing in each event. You have to qualify to be able to perform at the San Antonio Stock Show. And there's a process. Then Cody comes in and does a way, said, that's 10 participants to each of the different rodeo events. I'm gonna make it 11. And he has started, and it's gonna come up here in a month, and that's the third year where we have a qualifier to come into the San Antonio Stock Show. So rodeo contestants, you gotta be a PRCA member, Pro Rodeo Cowboy Association member, pays dues, kind of like being a member of the PGA, Julius. I will say it's a lot easier. It's like it's just anybody who competes in rodeos, that they can file to compete, and I mean it's all week long in Uvalde. The qualifier finals are November 15th and 16th, so that means it starts on Monday the 11th during the day. Anybody can show up for free. We do charge on the 2 performances, Friday and Saturday night. And the winners of each of those events in Uvalde will get to perform in San Antonio. So we got the ones who qualify at the top, that go to all the big rodeos around the United States. And then we've got folks who are local, that are working ranches throughout South Texas that have an opportunity. And we've seen some of those win in San Antonio, win money. And you start, when you compete in a rodeo, you're starting at about 5th place in each of those competitions, get some money. What I love to do at the rodeo, and that is take a lot of $1 bills, and whichever group you're with, is start trading dollars, and somebody declares the score or the time, and the other people says, okay, here's $1, and I'll say it's either up or down. And my favorite part of the story is I've got a brother-in-law who follows rodeo, lives in California, big rodeo fan. So he comes in for the finals of the San Antonio Stock Show. He's fired up. He knows all the cowboys. And I said, hey, Carl, you ready to do some trading dollars? Hell, Pat, you don't want to bet against me. I know. I said, come on, Carl. The reason why, half of what goes on, they're all good. Every single one of those cowboys know what they're doing. It's how the animal feels that night. And what they do is what matters. And that's why when we have this competition in Uvalde, and winners out of that come to San Antonio, they got a good chance. And I mean, it's life difference money for someone competing there. So back to your question, we have the best cowboys, and then we also have some that are working ranches every day, and that know how to do those rodeo acts, and be able to compete in San Antonio. Yes.
What about your involvement in sports? I know you're active in several different. Could you share a little bit with that?
I'm blessed that Frost Bank let me get involved in activities. As a matter of fact, the gentleman that ran the rodeo for 30 years, Keith Martin, he worked at Frost Bank for 17 years before that. And he tells the story, and that is that my father, this has been like in 1970, gets all the officers in the room and goes, look, you each all need to get involved in something in the community. And I'll make sure the bank supports you when you do it, because we need to help our community, and by the side, get out there and meet some people. But Keith chose, because he is a child growing up in Lytle, showed animals at the San Antonio Stock Show, so he got involved. And so, by the time I started, as I say, my real job after college in the mid-'80s, that story was well known. You better figure out something to do. So I was an early volunteer at SA Sports, is what it's called now. And it's been a really fun. We're having our 40th anniversary this year at SA Sports. And I've been there for 37 of them.
What's coming up? Is the missions? Is there some problems with the mission stadium?
Well, there are not any problems. As a matter of fact, I'm going to leave from here. The county commissioners are voting on the same issue that the city approved for the San Antonio Missions ownership, local owners, to build a new minor league baseball stadium in downtown San Antonio. If you haven't driven by where this is going, it's an empty field with weeds growing. I mean, it is, and basically this ownership group has guaranteed that the tax money being used to build that stadium will be paid for by development around the stadium. And if it doesn't happen, it's personal guarantees of that ownership. So I'm sure there's some other stadiums in the United States, but certainly not around here, that a professional stadium's been built with the guarantee that it'll be paid back by the ownership group. And so, they're gonna have citizens to be heard, and we'll see if I-35 cooperates with me and I get downtown. But it's an exciting deal. And what I'm gonna say in my words is, I'm a 35-year season ticket holder of the San Antonio Missions, back to when they played at St. Mary's. But this has nothing to do with baseball. It has to do, I mean, I take people out to the missions game, and halfway during the game, I go, who are we playing tonight? And if you haven't been to a missions game, you know, they all sell gear, and it'll be something like Rock Hounds or Rough Riders on their jersey. It doesn't say the city name. And so, you know, they'll look at me and go, I don't know. And I go, isn't that what's great? I mean, you don't care. It's just sitting outside, maybe drinking a beer if you like it, yeah, having some peanuts. It's just relaxation, you know, versus, you know, if you're a college football fan, you know, you're nervous every Saturday. so it's about economic development for you. Yes.
You mentioned the art.
Yes, Western art.
Yeah, Western art. Can you talk a little bit more about that? Because we were really impressed with that at the in Houston. I hope that this year's is comparable.
Yeah, no, it's a really fantastic opportunity. Like I mentioned, it's just kind of tapping into that kid that doesn't have a rural background, and you know, it really is so impressive. And I don't know, Pat, if you know more about, you know, the committee that and their process of how they go out and gather the kids and for that, but.
High schools around the San Antonio area, art teachers know to be able to submit their kids' work. So in December, they have a competition with people who know how to grade art. I gotta tell you a story. Last week, I got to go to the wine competition for the rodeo, wine judging. I hope you've been to our wine tents. Really a lot of fun. And when you go there, there's like, you know, winners and stuff like that. So they, you know, and they get like sommeliers of different restaurants come in. So it's happening on a Monday morning, and you know, we're having breakfast, and you know, they're telling them the rules. And at 10 a.m., they're going to judge wines. I'm thinking, really? Okay, here's the hidden secret. You know how you judge wine? You put it in your mouth and you spit it out. I am so glad that I knew that before I watched them. I'd be like, man, these wines aren't good. So, I don't know if the wine, I don't think you have to do anything like that when you're judging art, but you get experts to be able to judge, and scholarships are awarded based upon those winners. And if you go to what we call Expo Hall 1, which is, it's where the shops are now. You know, when you go to the rodeo now, you know, it used to be, remember you go to the shops there in Freeman? Gotta go to Freeman now, because brilliant idea by Cody is to bring the horse show in there. It's fantastic. Horse competitions all 18 days. So now the vendors are all in Expo Hall 1. Well, when you walk into one of the doors of Expo Hall 1, which is actually on the left-hand side, it's not the last one, but the second to last, but just ask when you go in there, you'll see the winners of the Western Art Contest. And basic, I'll tell you the number, $350,000 in scholarships are given by Western Art winners. And that'll be at about $10,000 is what each winner gets. Yes?
So, just to give y'all a little insight, my daughter won a rodeo scholarship for her artwork.
Good.
She earned $10,000 that
Yay.
she used for A&M. And the nice thing about it is that, one, she had the whole semester to do the artwork, procrastinated, did it in 24 hours, and won $10,000. So that was her junior year. Her senior year, she decided to take it a little more serious, and it took her 3 weeks to do it, and ended up getting a 3rd place or something like that. So it wasn't a scholarship, but it was something that was really nice. What I loved about it was this organization stays with them throughout their whole college year and encourages them to be a part of the rodeo. They get invited every year to come. Her artwork was displayed for a month at the Briscoe Museum,
Yeah, that's right.
which was really nice. And you know, it's a great program. And so as a parent, I fully support, you know, everything that y'all do. Sure.
Thank you. Congratulations to your daughter. You know, they get a relationship. We're gonna make sure come over here. They get a relationship with our staff because they have to show their grades. I mean, you know, it's split up between 8 disbursements to be able to get that 10,000, and we make sure that our hard-earned money by our patrons, that those kids are making progress toward their degree.
I may not have the nomenclature correct, but I think you guys need to be noticed. For what, 6 years in a row, you've been voted the #1 indoor large rodeo and that's a tremendous achievement. That's nationwide, and it's given out every year in Las Vegas, I believe, against other rodeos. Congratulations.
Thank you. You know, I'm trying to think, Audrey, the award that the stock show received this year from the performers, that was incredible. So that's from the Cowboys. And the performers, the second year in a row.
Yeah, at the ACM Awards in Nashville, we were awarded Best Rodeo of the Year, and the ACM Awards is the American Country Music Awards out of Nashville. So that was really fantastic. And on top of, additionally, you know, from the PRCA side, which is what you mentioned, for the past 6 years, we were awarded the Best Indoor Rodeo, but we were also recognized for that on the women's side, so the WPRA. So barrel racing and breakaway, we were awarded Best Indoor Rodeo as well. And so it's something that we're extremely proud of, you know, on the women's side.
I want to thank the rodeo. They're one of the few organizations that still recognize and celebrate veterans. You can't go to a rodeo without hearing that, so I just want to say thank you. We don't hear that enough these days.
It's a
It's a
big
big
part of our
part.
show.
Yes.
Yeah, and talk about national anthem.
What portion of it?
That our national anthem, generally every show is sung by a service
Yes.
man or woman.
Yes, correct. And there are a lot of different things that we do as well to pay tribute. You know, we bring in, you know, the caisson, do present the colors. You know, it's just a huge part of who we are, and so thank you to y'all.
Thank you all.